Feedback Learnex. English forever.
Hello, welcome to Feedback Learnex. We are at the University of Football in Pachuca, part of the facilities of Pachuca Football Club. We want to thank and appreciate all the efforts that they are making to host us and to be part of this experience. Now, Marilyn, we are having a new bimester.
Yes, it's super exciting. It's a new bimester, new 2 months, and of course, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the World Cup, about Russia. From Russia with Love is the name, and so everything that has to do with Russian culture, things that you can find in Russia, tourism, and everything to do with the World Cup and the history behind the World Cup, about mascots, for example, what we're going to talk about today, and all sorts of things.
Okay, now that you mentioned mascots, I want to say something like really important that not many people know. Did you know that it was until 1966 when the first mascot appeared? That was in the World Cup in England.
So, but didn't it start in 1930?
No, the World Cup started in 1930, but the mascots and the power of the party start in 1966. And let me tell you, one of my favorites is Pique. Pique was the mascot in Mexico in 1986. It was a big jalapeno with a big mustache and a big sombrero. And oh my God, I really love this mascot. But let's see, what did you prepare? What about that, Marilyn?
And I'm going to talk about the first 3 mascots to ever hit the World Cup. First, we have in England, World Cup Willie. World Cup Willie was a lion that was dressed up. Now, if you know, the lion is a very emblematic symbol for England and the United Kingdom. He was dressed up in the typical colors of the United Kingdom, in red and white and blue, and that happened in 1966. He made his debut. He was the very first mascot to ever hit. Then fast forward, the next one was in Mexico in 1970. In Mexico, we had Juanito. Now Juan is a typical name that derives in Latin America and specifically in Mexico. And so Juanito was a boy that had the typical sombrero and the green, very Mexican selection t-shirt and jersey. And he represented throughout the World Cup, the Mexican team, as well as the World Cup in Mexico. Fast forward to 1974 in Germany. Germany had the emblematic mascot named Tip and Tap. It was 2 little boys that were dressed in the white German jersey, and they had the initials of WM, which stood for Welsh-Meisterschaft. Welsh-Meisterschaft stands for World Cup, so it was very involving, very inclusive to have them specifically wearing the W and the M. And that's it.
And we are here out of the Calero Center, part of the goalkeeper school in the University of Football in Pachuca, part of the facilities of Pachuca Football Club. And we keep talking about the different mascots that we have had at the World Cup history. In 1978, the World Cup took place in Argentina, so it was Gauchito, the person selected to be representing part of the identity of Argentina. This little kid, this little pibe, was representing part of the traditions with the sombrero and with the flag, and of course he could not forget his ball, part of the Argentinian culture. After that, 4 years later in Spain, in 1982, surprisingly we didn't have nor bullfighters nor flamenco. We had an orange. Can you believe that? An orange. It is because it's a fruit really typical from the region of Valencia. That's how Naranjito came to our world in 1982 to host the World Cup in Spain.
5001-9642 Feedback Learning.
Estamos cerrando un bimestre lleno de conocimiento. Es momento de demostrar cuánto has avanzado. ¿Estás listo para la competencia? Interfilial. 2 de junio, 8:30 AM. Instituto México Primaria. Tu turismo, economía, literatura, tradición, historia, gastronomía, todo lo relacionado al Lejano Oriente. Interfilial.
Learnex, English Forever.
5001-9642 Feedback Learning.
Ciao! So we're here still in the Pachuca Stadium taking advantage of this awesome scenography, this awesome background. We have the Joseph Platter facilities in the background. And I started off by saying ciao. We're not going to learn Italian, but ciao is the name of the 1990 World Cup mascot. Ciao was from Italy. That's where the World Cup was held. And ciao was a bunch of blocks, kind of like cubes or Legos, if you will, that were put together in the colors of the Italian flag. And they created a human. For the head, they used a soccer ball. And ciao kind of was a moving, it was supposed to represent the very Italian, lovable, fun-loving personality through ciao. Now fast forward to 1994. In 1994, the World Cup was in the United States. The United States used a dog and they named him Striker. Striker is the person that makes all the goals within a game, or most goals within a game, because they strike the ball into the goal. Striker was a dog and he had a t-shirt that was the typical colors of the US flag, red, white, and blue. And we keep going to 1998, where Footix made his debut. Footix was a rooster that was dressed in the colors and the symbols of the France Association. That year, the World Cup took place in France. So throughout the years, they kind of built up to that mascot and decided to use the rooster in order to establish kind of not aggression, but power and the greatness that was going to be the French Association. So that's a little bit about those three countries and their mascots. Stay tuned and we'll see a little bit more.
And we are still here at the facilities of the Pachuca Football Club. This is the main court where the first team trains. All of the superstars of Pachuca Football Club train in this place. They come here every single day to become the best players in the Mexican League. Now, continuing with the topic of the mascots of the World Cup, we go to 2002, the first ever World Cup in Korea and Japan. The Asia continent received for the very first time the honor of being host of the World Cup. And since it was a unique occasion, they need to have unique mascots. So this is where the three Espherics took place. For the first time, we had three different mascots, Atto, Cas, and Nick. These were three different aliens who come from the planet Atoms, a fake planet created and developed by the FIFA organizers to be the mascots of the Korea and Japan World Cup in 2002. When we moved 4 years later to Germany in 2006, we met Golio. Golio was a lion who had a little talking ball and was the official mascot for the World Cup in Germany 2006. In 2010, the World Cup finally visited the Black Continent, Africa, and the honor was of the country of South Africa. In 2010, in Johannesburg, we met Sakumi. This little leopard, representing the fauna of Africa, was selected as the mascot for the 2010 World Cup. The first time it came there, and as a result of this tournament, Spain was the champion.
Now let's talk about the 2014 World Cup. In 2014, it was held in Brazil, and the mascot was Fico. Fico is an armadillo which is native to the Brazilian area, the north part, and it's actually in danger of being extinct. Now this armadillo was dressed in the typical Brazilian colors, green and yellow, and he held a soccer ball in his hand. And they used him because of the representation that it did to kind of restore that as an endangered species. Next, we have, well, of course, the 2018, this year's World Cup. And it is taking place in none other than Russia. And Russia chose Sabivaka as their mascot. It is a fox that's dressed with a jersey that represents the Russian national team. And what Sabivaka essentially means is the one who scores. Now, the reason Russia chose Sabivaka is because the fox is one of the fastest animals, and it's swift, it's quick, and it's very quick to strike, and that's what they want, or they want to portray in their team. Now, this is all for this segment, and we'll see you in a second.
And that's all for today. For today's Learnex feedback, we want to thank to the facilities of Pachuca Football Club, especially to Javel Marines and to Alejandro Mijares and all of the staff who help us to be part of this Learnex feedback. Marilyn, this is all for this chapter.
So I want to say thank you to the community, to this experience, because honestly, I've learned a lot. Personally, I hope that you all have learned a lot. And remember that this is every Thursday at 9:15 p.m. The only place where you're going to learn this much information in one segment is Learnex. So stay tuned for next episode. And remember that this bimester's topic is from Russia with love. See you guys.